G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be doing squiggle ladder prediction for the rest of the season. And this will be interesting because we will see who will make the top 8. Obviously West Coast on some shocking form, and all these teams around from like 7th to 12th are still in contention, and mathematically Carlton and Gold Coast are still in contention as well, but then that is probably not gonna happen. It's not realistically, but like they still have a chance technically, but it will be really hard. I think you need at least 11 wins to secure your place into the top 8, and obviously the top 4 race as well. Only these 5 teams mainly are in contention right now. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one is Brisbane and Richmond. Preliminary final rematch, and I think Brisbane will get the better of it. So Brisbane by 16 points. Gold Coast and Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs by a comfortable margin. Gold Coast are not on the best of form right now. Obviously they got that win against GWS, but like GWS aren't really on form as well. Melbourne and Hawthorn. Melbourne will get this easily. And St Kilda and Port Adelaide. I reckon this will be actually a pretty close game because the Saints are on pretty good form, defeating Brisbane by 20 points. Or 30 points the other day. But I think Port will still get this done by 10 points. North, Melbourne and Essendon. I'm pretty sure North upsetted the Eagles, but the Eagles are on shocking form right now. So I'm going to put the Bombers by around 2 goals. Collingwood and Carlton. So this one will be really interesting. Sorry, I had some good, but Carlton have been on pretty decent form lately. Obviously, that loss against Geelong with inaccuracy costing them, but I reckon they could still create an upset. Obviously, Collingwood doing really well and to fight back in the last quarter against Richmond, but I reckon it'll be Carlton by 2 points in a draw. Next is Adelaide and West Coast. I reckon West Coast will bounce back. It won't be a comfortable win, but it'll still be a win. Just put them by 14 points. And now we have GWS and Sydney in the New South Wales Derby, Sydney Derby. I actually reckon that GWS will win again. I am a Swans fan, and I'm not as confident that we'll beat GWS. Especially it's being played in Queensland now, so yeah, I reckon Giants by 3 in a thriller. Another thriller. Port Adelaide and Collingwood. Port Adelaide should get this easily. Maybe by 19 points or 20 points. Sydney and Fremantle. I reckon Sydney will bounce back. Well, Sydney are on some pretty good form right now. I went to the Bulldogs game and they played well there. So let's say the Swans by 4 in another good game. Hawthorn and Brisbane. No upset here. Brisbane will probably win this. Essendon and GWS, which is 8th and 9th on the ladder. Look at Essendon's percentage, though, 104. That is pretty good. A lot of teams contending around 90 percentage. So I think Essendon will actually win this. It'll be a close game, I think, but I reckon the Bombers will come back in the last quarter and to win it by 5. Gold Coast and Melbourne. I think Melbourne will get this comfortably done with 23. West Coast and St Kilda. I actually think St Kilda will win the Saints because I do see them winning this because like West Coast haven't been on the best of form, and St Kilda beat Brisbane recently, and it'll be really interesting. So I'm going to tip the Saints by 7 points. Western Bulldogs and Adelaide. Should be an easy win for the Bulldogs here. Geelong and Richmond in the grand final replay. Richmond just don't look like they're going to be contending for the top 8 at this rate. They've lost like 4 in a row right now. I don't know. I can't keep counting anymore. Geelong and Richmond. I think Geelong should win this. Maybe not comfortably, but they will still win this. 13 points. Carlton and North Melbourne will be, I reckon Carlton will get this done. Because they're not on a bad form, but they have been inaccurate in their last game by 18. Sydney and Essendon, I reckon Sydney will win this in a really good game, because it's always really close in these two teams. I know this because I am a Sydney supporter, a Swan supporter, so yeah, I reckon Sydney will win this, and I reckon it will be by 4 points again. And North and Geelong should get this done easily. Brisbane and Gold Coast, 24 points, Brisbane. St Kilda and Carlton, I know Tanush might get mad at me, but I actually think the Saints will win this, and 8 points. Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs, this will be a first versus third clash, and I actually see the Bulldogs winning this by 15 points. I don't know why, but yes. Let's go. Hawthorn and Adelaide. I don't reckon it'll be an upset. Well, you can't really say it's an upset, but Adelaide by 10. GWS and Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide will win that. Well, GWS 10th. So we're going to stop at halfway after this round. So Collingwood and West Coast, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go for Collingwood in an upset by 10. Fremantle and Richmond. Richmond will... I reckon they could bounce back, but I think Fremantle will win this by 14 points. So we've done halfway almost, and right now in the 8 are St Kilda and Essendon, but it all could change because the fixture we don't know. So let's continue. Obviously, technically, Richmond can technically still make it, but it's very unlikely. So it'll be between 7th to 12th, but it'll be hard for Carlton. To be honest, it'll be these 4 teams mainly contending, which is St Kilda, Essendon, West Coast, and Fremantle. Although West Coast on shocking form. Carlton will win this, but by 19. Geelong versus GWS. Geelong should get this done. Hawthorn and Collingwood. Collingwood will win this. Richmond and North Melbourne. Richmond will get that done pretty easily, I think. St Kilda and Sydney. I actually don't see Sydney beating St Kilda. I feel like St Kilda will be more determined to win this time, because it is 6 versus 7th actually, even though there's an 8-point difference, but still. And I see the Saints winning this, because last time obviously Jack Higgins kicking 6 behinds to cost them the win. So I reckon it'll be St Kilda by 5 points. Western Bulldogs and Essendon. Essendon should not win this. I actually reckon there could be an upset here, but I'm gonna go for the upset. Essendon by 2 points. I need to predict some upsets. Port will win this by 19. Brisbane. Ooh, I feel like there'll be an upset here as well. I'm gonna go Fremantle by a point, by 1 point. Big call. West Coast and Melbourne. Melbourne will get this done. Brisbane and Collingwood. Brisbane should win this. 25. Geelong and St Kilda. I don't think the Saints will beat Geelong. To be honest, Geelong are on top of the table as it stands, according to my predictions, and it'll be them by 12. 2 goals. Essendon and Gold Coast. I feel like there could be an upset, but I don't think so. So 9 points. I can see Gold Coast winning this. Richmond and GWS. I'm gonna go GWS by 4. I'm not sure if it's an upset or not, but yeah. Western Bulldogs and Hawthorn. Western Bulldogs easily 18 points, 3 goals. Melbourne and Adelaide. I'm gonna go for Melbourne, but to get revenge by maybe 14 points, not too big. North Melbourne and Sydney. Sydney should get this done by 24. Port Adelaide and Carlton. I actually think that Port should win this by 28. Kirkstale, Fremantle. Oh, it's the Western Derby and West Coast. They will eventually get back to their form, but will it be in this match? Don't think so. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be Fremantle by a point in a really close game. Brisbane and West Coast. Brisbane will win this. Carlton and GWS. I feel like Carlton will actually win this by 7 points. Essendon and Collingwood. Collingwood. Actually, they'll have a new manager by now, probably, and this is the last round as well. So yeah, so this is the teams that are still in contention. Oh, Carlton technically still can make it, but it'll be hard because Fremantle have to choke really badly. So yeah, let's see what happens here. So Essendon and Collingwood, let's put Essendon. I feel like Essendon, this will be the match to secure their place in the top 8. Be really important to them. So by 8 points, because Collingwood won't give up without a fight. Geelong and Melbourne, top of the table clash. I think it'll be. This might be a Saturday night game. I think it'll be kind of hard to tell, but I think it'll be Melbourne. Yeah, I think they'll bounce back. 18. Not a comfortable win. Let's put it by 8 points. Richmond and Hawthorn. Richmond will win this easily. St Kilda and Fremantle. Oh, this will be a really good game. 8th and 9th. Whoever wins this basically secures their spot in the top 8. So it'll be really interesting. I reckon St Kilda could win this, and I think they will. But it'll be really close. 2 points. Sydney and Gold Coast. Oh, actually, I want to think more about this one. So if it's by 2 points, it could be Fremantle. That's the thing. And it's a really important game. Actually, I'm going to change it to Fremantle by a point. Sydney and Gold Coast. Sydney should get that done. Western Bulldogs and Port Adelaide should be Western Bulldogs by 13, let's say. And in the last game of the season, we're going to put North Melbourne to get their 4th win and go ahead of Hawthorn in the last game. And that is it. And St Kilda miss out by a point. By one, I mean a win. By a win. And obviously West Coast slipping down the order. They got a few decent wins. Not really. And Melbourne still end up finishing top. Bulldogs 2nd with the percentage. So yeah, and Port ended up not getting top 4. Brisbane ended up still getting it. And the top 8 is Essendon and Fremantle. And I think this is one of the best top 8 races we've had for a long time. So yeah, GWS and Richmond were not far behind. They were only like 3 wins away. 2 wins for Carlton. Carlton climbing a few spots. St Kilda so close. They're doing so well at one point. But yeah, that is my predictions. And Fremantle and Essendon to make the 8. Sydney in 6th, just in a lonely 6th. And yeah, Hawthorn to pick up the wooden spoon. So yeah guys, that's my predictions. I'm not going to do the finals predictions because I don't know if they're even right. So I think I will end the video there. And I'll do a finals prediction video when it actually comes to the finals. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time in another video. Bye!